closer to the policies I want.
You really think the hellscape that would be America would be worse under Kamala?
Ben Shapiro was on Bill Maher's Club Random podcast, which we've both been on before and had these conversations with Bill. And Bill obviously is not voting for Trump, but he has taken some positions that, yeah, I know, I got it. We've tried, we really did, both of us, and Ben certainly did as well. But obviously he's not going that way. And they got into an interesting discussion where Bill basically admitted he's willing to vote for all of the policies that he's against as long as it stops Trump. Take a look.
Let's end this section of our conversation with just this one question. If he does do these things that I fear, will you admit it?
Sure.
Yes.
Of course.
I think he will. I think you're an honorable guy.
I mean,
I do.
I opposed him when he was doing this between November and January last time around.
Okay, but he did it, so how could you possibly forgive it?
I mean, I don't forgive what he did between November and January, and now
Right.
I'm faced with a binary choice between two candidates. And who do I think is going to be closer to the policies I want?
You really think the hellscape that would be America would be worse under Kamala? I mean, again, all the woke stuff, I mean, this is last week's editorial that I did and this week, they both kind of have the same theme, which is that, Kamala, you need to convince the undecided voter that you're not a stealth woke nut.
Yes.
That's it.
Are you convinced?
No, but I would take that even over, as much baggage comes with that. It's still better than the guy who doesn't concede elections, loves Putin, loves autocracy, fundamentally doesn't understand that that's the linchpin to America, the peaceful transference of power. No, I don't think he would ever give it up. I don't think he would ever say, I lost.
So can I ask you the countervailing question?
And he will probably try to pass it on to Uday and Hussein.
So you've asked me, if Trump does all these things, will you admit it and say that? And I said, okay, so if Kamala turns out, if she wins, and she turns out to be just as stealthily woke as I fear she will be, and if she pursues the bad kind of foreign policy that I think she will, I assume that you'll also come forward and say that.
What I will admit is that she was a stealth woke nut. I will not admit, because I haven't said it now and never have and never would, that is yet worse than not conceding an election.
Understood.
That to me is the absolute bottom.
So I think that if you're going to make a bet, to be fair, just to, if we're going to put it in people's lap, then the bet is basically, do you think there's a better chance that Donald Trump ends up being a Hitlerian, tyrannical dictator who overruns all the boundaries of power?
Right.
Or do you think that there's a better chance that Kamala Harris is going to be a stealth woke nut who runs America into a ditch? And I think there's a way better chance of the latter than the former.
Yeah, but yes, maybe so. Don't know, but a good question at least. What is not a question in my mind is, if the worst outcome of each happened, which is the worst of the two?
Fair. That's part of the calculus.
And you agree with that?
Well, I mean,
it would be worse
if Donald Trump turns into Hitler. I think that is worse than Kamala Harris being a bad president.
Not Hitler. He's not going to kill all the Jews. He likes the Jews.
He does.
And so do I.
So we cut the clip there, but obviously Bill, in essence, says, I'm voting for Kamala no matter what. Dr. Bill, my gut feeling here is that it's not stealth. It's not a gut feeling. I think it's fairly obvious. This isn't stealth. It kind of is what it is with her, and that is what she represents. But what do you make of Bill's position there? Because you've sat in that chair with him. I've sat in that chair with him. Many others. We've all tried. I always say to my audience, it doesn't matter which way Bill Maher himself is voting. He actually at least is having these conversations, and lefties are hearing it, so that is a net positive.
Well, first, I have to say I really give Bill credit for the fact that he's actually discussing these things and taking a lot of heat from the left for calling out some of the things that he's calling out. And he gets a lot of criticism for it, but he's willing to say, look, this is going too far. This is woke nut. And I think that him doing that really helps. And when I hear what he's saying, there's a lot of I think hyperbole in there about people call Trump Hitler. They've actually since I gave that speech at the Trump rally, they've gone online and said the same thing about me, and I'm probably one of, maybe not the most outspoken ally and advocate against these pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas demonstrations on our elite university campuses of anybody in America. And yet they're advocating for the Jewish community and the Israeli state.
And there were plenty of Israeli flags at that rally too, which would not be happening at a Kamala Harris rally. That's just a fact. It's a sad fact.
I don't get it. And, you know, I think people get caught up in all of this rhetoric and don't stop and actually think, you know, when you're calling somebody Hitler, we're talking about somebody that massacred 6 million human beings. And to throw that term around like that about somebody is, that's beyond hyperbole. That's just ridiculous.
When Rumble first started in 2013, they built the platform for the small creator. They didn't censor or have biases. They were fair and treated all creators equally. No one thought platforms would censor political conversation or censor opinions around COVID, but they did. Facebook admitted they fell to pressure from the Biden and Harris administration. Of course, Rumble did not. They held the line. They're attacked daily for giving us a voice to talk to you. They're attacked in corporate media. They're attacked by governments like France. They're attacked by brand advertisers who refuse to work with them. Corporate America is fighting to remove free speech while Rumble is fighting to keep it. Rumble won't survive with brand advertisers alone. They don't get much of it. So watching our show is the number one way we can ask for support from you. But if you really believe in this fight and you have the means, one major way you can help Rumble survive is by joining Rumble Premium. Join the community that believes in the First Amendment and believes in our human right to free speech. Rumble is offering $10 off with promo code Rubin when you purchase an annual subscription. Go to rumble.com/premium/Rubin and use code Rubin. Like I said, if you have the means and believe in the cause, now is the time to join Rumble Premium. If you don't have the means, we're just happy if you watch us right here on Rumble.